These were the warm, bright days of our innocence in Delano. New, fresh, stepping along with the times. We had no way of knowing that the nightmare was already beginning. No one heard the sound of that shovel digging an unmarked grave. No one ever saw that dark figure moving in the lantern light, or the body of a young man, unknown around here, dead and buried in secret. Just an easy Sunday stroll from our town square. We couldn't have known. I ask you to believe that. A matter of urgent city business called me away from my desk at the bank one afternoon in May of 1924. It's hard to think of anything being urgent in a town as small as Delano was then. I'm Hugh Holmes. I guess I think of Delano as my town. Not that I own it, but I love it. These streets weren't even here until just after we all come back from World War I. That time, I was just a struggling young bank cashier, but I knew when good fortune was smiling at me. When I agreed to buy 4 lots right in the spot, they threw in the privilege of opening the bank here. The railroad and the mill were my first customers. We built the bank, a school, and 3 churches first, but by 1924, people being what they are, it was high time to build a new jail and police station. So I called a special city council meeting to select our first police chief. I asked the council to meet me at the new station. A police station without a chief is just another vacant building. Qualified men hadn't exactly been clamoring for the job. Morning, men. Hello, All right, gentlemen, let's call this special meeting to order.
Good. Now I move we adjourn.
Come on, Idas. We voted to have a police station and a police chief 8 months ago.
I say when this place is done, we turn the key over to Sheriff Skeeter Willis.
Skeeter is busy with the whole county. The only time he ever comes to Delano is when he's looking for votes.
Old Judge Baxter up in the State House made a lot of sense to me. Find yourself a good man, he says. Never mind about his experience. Hire a local man. Man people respect. He can grow in the job.
Well, that's fine, but who have we got, Hugh?
First application letter was submitted by Francis Funderburk.
Foxy?
Foxy Funderburk feels his military experience, as well as his proficiency with firearms, qualifies him for the job.
Foxy Funderburk's military experience consisted of getting kicked by a horse in England, I hear. It caught him in the head, if you ask me.
I assured Mr. Funderburk we would give his application due consideration. All in favor? Opposed?
Hey.
The second letter I have here is from Will Henry Lee.
Will Henry? Well, I'll be darned. Pretty good man for a pretty poor job.
Yeah, what happened? Did the boll weevil do him in?
Will Henry never had much luck farming cotton, but he stuck with it. I was ready to renew his loan at the bank, but he finally decided to get out before he got in over his head. I liked Will. He was a good man, like his daddy.
Mose Gifford and his boys coming by in a bit and help me with that piano.
You tell him I appreciate it, huh?
I sure do, there.
Now, Nellie, if you ever want for anything, you come to us now. We're not going to be that far.
Sure. But this place don't seem the same already, Miss Carey.
I know. I know.
Mama, where's my quilty blanket?
Oh, heaven's sakes, that quilty blanket run hard from you already.
It's up here in the car, Eloise.
Jesse, you and little Josh are gonna have to keep the place up. Mr. Holmes is counting on you till he can rent it or sell it.
Well, it won't be the same without you, Mr. Will Henry.
You and me, we worked this land together many years.
You're a good farmer, Mr. Will Henry.
Good, not good enough now. To beat the boll weevil, you got to be both good and rich.
Now, that's the truth.
Jesse, Hoss Spence had his eye on this place for some time now. Probably gonna go for cows and peaches.
Hoss Spence.
He asked for y'all to stay on now. You remember something about Hoss Spence. He's a man who likes a lot of yassas and nosas.
Yeah, sir.
Well, we got to be going, Jesse. Where's little Billy at? See with Joshua?
I think he went back to say his goodbyes to old Dapple. Him and that horse gonna do some pining away.
Eloise, run back, get your brother.
Give him a minute, Will. It's important. Come on, Eloise. I want you to show your mama where's middle C. That's good now. Where's that?
Good. Show me the A. Now try to say again. Good.
Don't worry about old Dapple, Billy. I'll take real good care of him. That's a promise just between you and me.
Be sure he gets a carrot every day. He likes carrots.
Even if I have to steal one.
Your application was submitted and voted on, Foxy. I'm sorry.
I do a good deal of business at your bank, Mr. Holmes.
And it's much appreciated.
Well, as much as it could be, apparently.
Surely don't think I'd let bank business influence the council's decision. You know, I mean no offense by this, Foxy, but folks in town just don't know you very well. They tend to regard you as something of a recluse who prefers to live up here alone in Pine Mountain with your dogs. Fine dogs, to be sure.
Purebred golden labs are not mere dogs.
Well, I won't dispute you on that, Foxy. But there's also no disputing the fact that you don't even live in Mainbridge County. This place is in Justin County. You'd have had to move even to accept the appointment. Isn't that the truth?
It was a bad decision. Very bad. Picking a farmer. This assignment requires someone with training and discipline. What do you expect a green cotton farmer to do when there's real trouble?
Catch you go fooling around with a nigger girl again, you ain't gonna heal up so fast.
What's going on here, Tommy?
Well, nothing, Skeeter. We just holding a little lesson on inbreeding with niggers, that's all.
Well, far be it from me to interfere with some young man's schooling.
Yes, sir, sir.
Any one of you gentlemen got a bottle? It's getting a little chilly out here tonight.
Get a bottle there.
solemnly swear to uphold the laws of the city of Delano, this sovereign state in the United States of America, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, Hugh. Thank you.
Good luck, Will Henry.
Thank you, sir.
We're mighty proud of you, Will Henry.
Thank you.
Mighty
Appreciate
proud.
it.
Go to it, Will Henry. Good luck. Good luck, Will Henry.
Thank you.
Well, Chief, looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, Skeeter.
T.T. Brown from the Capitol will be through in a couple of days, and he'll outfit you with anything you may need in the way of equipment.
Good, good.
Long as you don't go over budget.
Okay, Iris, I won't.
Good luck, Will Henry.
Thank you.
Say, Will Henry, I know you're not used to carrying a gun, but we can't have our police chief walking around naked. This old Colt bunt line ought to serve a purpose till your regular equipment gets here. Been in my family a good many years, but I don't know how long since it's been fired. You can see there's no notches in the butt.
I probably won't have to fire this at anybody. Just show it to somebody to scare them to death.
I didn't want to cast a cloud over the ceremony there, but I got the council to vote you an extra $5 a month for insurance.
You don't mean life insurance, do you?
Well, you got a family to think of.
Well, that's true. I reckon that's a good idea. I appreciate it, Hugh.
Carry an umbrella, it never rains.
Yeah. Well, I expect the biggest danger I'm going to have around here is getting kicked by a mule in Saturday traffic.
Well, if that's so, you better steer clear of Ben Birdsong's team. They're a little ticklish.
You know, speaking of traffic, we could use one of those new automatic signals on the corner up there.
Well, I do.
Bank robbers! They robbed the bank! Gal, he's got a gun on us. Turn the wheel! Watch out! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Ain't nothing to it, is there, Chief?
After his daring daylight capture, those bank robbers, everybody in town knew Will Henry, but nobody knew about the nightmare going on among us.
Stack those dishes or break them?
Can't help it, Will Henry. I'm still shaking like a leaf.
Look, honey, those O'Brien brothers were drunk to the gills. That shotgun they had wasn't even loaded.
A shotgun? And life insurance. Well, I wish you hadn't even told me about that.
I thought it was mighty decent of the council to vote it for me.
I suppose.
You suppose? Look, honey, the worst thing that's probably ever going to happen is I might have to drag some drunk out of the depot or chase somebody out of a prize watermelon patch or write up a report on a broken window.
However,
time may come when things aren't all that innocent. If that time ever comes, I got to put myself in jeopardy. I don't want to worry about you worrying about me.
you're right. You're right. But when that T.T. Brown fella delivers your police pistols, we're going to drive out in the country and we're going to practice. I mean, you're a good shot, Will Henry, but I think you should be the very best.
That's my gal.
Don't shoot, don't shoot. I got you. Put your hands up above your head. You're under arrest.
Billy!
Point that gun at the ground, son. Come on now, point it at the ground. Slowly. Now give me the gun, son. Now you look at this. That's a real gun, you hear? That is not a gun to be making believe with. You understand?
Huh?
Come over here, both of you. Now you remember what I said? You remember what I said about the gun?
I don't remember.
Now, what did I say about the gun, Billy?
You said it was real.
That's right, son, and don't you forget it. Now, you take it, you put it back where you found it. Take it, Billy. Go on, take it. You remember, don't you ever touch it again, you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, Joe, go on.
Spence was farming the old Lee place by then. He'd managed to survive the boll weevil by switching over to peaches and milk cows. He wanted to buy that farm, but I'd only rent it to him. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it was his nature. Hoss Spence had a natural meanness about him I didn't like. His boy Emmett was cut from the same stick.
Jesse, come over here. Now, I ain't running no charity picnic for you like Will Henry Lee did. I'll be having the manager stay on here in the main house. If you want to stay on, you can have a patch of ground and grow your own vegetable, some butter and eggs now and again. And if you put your back to the tree planting, you may even make yourself a few dollars. We'll see.
Well, yeah, sir. We'll do real good.
I hear tell that woman, that boy of yourn got quite a mouth on him. I don't want to hear none of it. You understand that?
Yeah, sir.
All right. Get to work. Get out. Yeah.
Well, I'd say you are now equipped with the tools of the trade, Chief.
Well, I reckon so.
I'm through this way every 2 months. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good seeing you again, Skeeter.
Take care of yourself, T.T.
Yep.
Thank you again.
Listen, has your wife given you the speech yet? You're the one about being careful?
Oh, well, we discussed it a little, yeah.
Uh-huh. Now, that hurt, didn't it? Right now, you don't feel like turning around doing the same thing to me, do you? I could have explained that to you for a week, and you wouldn't get it. You always got to be ready for somebody to try that on you. Some nice fella you stop for speeding, and you don't know he's got a trunk full of white lightning. All right. I'm sorry, Will Henry. There just ain't no easy way for me to teach you how to stay alive. T.T. left you this. Let me tell you about it. This is your edge. Don't ever threaten anybody with it. Use it. You hit a nigger with a 2x4, he'll hold a grudge for life. You hit him with your blackjack, he figure you're just doing your job. Another thing, you tell somebody to do something, don't argue about it. He'll kill you while you're sweet-talking him. Get your point, Skeeter. You might as well know. I advise you, Holmes, not to pick you for chief. You ain't got it in you to be hard enough. When the time comes, you ain't gonna be able to keep things straight. Somebody's gonna make you sorry, Will Henry. As sure as I'm standing here.
I swear, those mules could see you now, all dressed up.
Oh, it looks nice. Hey, you know, I'm gonna have to get used to wearing a necktie every day of the week now.
Of course, I always visualize you in your underwear anyway.
Hey, come on now, Carrie.
Okay, I lied. I visualize you without your underwear.
Mommy, come on! Come on, he's got his tie on and everything.
What are they talking about?
All right. Never could keep a secret for long in this house anyway.
Well, what's this? Oh. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Love you, Chief.
Thank you. Thank you all. I see old T.T. Brown's been busy around here.
He was very nice. I was glad he came by.
Well, it's real nice. Thank you. Well, you know, I almost forgot. I gotta run change. Hugh Holmes is expecting me down at the station. We gotta get ready for the big dedication tomorrow. Hey, Hugh, you don't have to be doing that.
Oh, I love sawdust, Will. Purely love the smell of it. When I was a tad, I used to go on down to the sawmill, smell of sawdust so thick you could almost taste it. I used to dream on what sort of buildings all those boards were going into.
Yeah, well, I can believe that.
Say, Will, I know this little dedication tomorrow morning may seem like nonsense to you, but people like to feel proud. They really do. I want them to feel proud of their new police station, their new police chief. Say, come on along in here a minute. I had my boys bring this into your office just before supper time.
Hey, isn't that something? That used to be in your office. I remember that.
Sure you do. This desk got me started in banking. It's all yours. Desk and a telephone. Hey, your own business. Answer it, Chief.
Police station, Chief Lee speaking. What's that? Just slow down, ma'am. Well, don't go in the house. I'll be right there. Woman said that Grady Butts is beating up on his wife.
Butts is a mill hand. He's steady enough when he's not drinking. Getting seldom. Come on, I know where he lives.
Grady, let the boy go to bed! Let the boy go to bed! Get it right there! Grady, let the boy go to bed! Get out! Hurry, he's killing her! Grady! Grady!
Let's get out of here. This is private property. Now get out of here.
You all right? Yeah. I think Dr. Mann ought to take a look at that.
I'll be all right.
Come on, get up.
I hope you're gonna kill him. Sonny, come here. Come here, son.
Come on, out the door. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us at such an early hour.
this very special occasion. We decided to hold this dedication before the start of school and the day shift at the mill, so y'all could get a look at your new fire and police station on a working day. Most of you already know Earl Chapman, chief of our volunteer fire department. Now we want you to meet your new police chief, Will Henry Lee.
I expect almost the only citizen of Delano who missed that dedication was Brother Maynard, the paper boy. Near the end of his route, he always stopped along the road below Hodo's Bluff to eat his breakfast. He had no idea he was only a few steps away from making a discovery that'd haunt him the rest of his years.
Buster, want some bacon sandwich? Hey, what are you doing?
Real nice celebration, Will.
Yeah, it was, it was.
At least the folks know who their police chief is.
Well, let's just hope they keep smiling. Morning there, Mr. Funderburg. You ain't gonna last long in this job, boy, Henry. You can take that to mean anything you want. You'll be right.
Don't pay any attention to that. Just sour grapes. Foxy wanted your job for himself.
I'll say one thing for him. I can't accuse him of being a good loser.
Well, I reckon not. I'll see you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Gee, wait a minute, wait! Hey!
Hold on there, Brother Maynard. What you so hot about?
You gotta go quick. There's a dead boy, honest. Up at Hunter's Bluff. I saw him. He's dead, honest.
Lamar Maddox and Dr. Frank Manton were surely accustomed to death in all its usual forms, but this corpse was a mystery. The victim was a stranger in these parts. Besides, Dr. Manton found some bruises on the body that puzzled him.
I called Dr. Carter Sauls over at the Capitol. He's an expert on postmortems. He said he could be here by 4 o'clock. I had to promise him a chicken dinner before we would agree to make the trip.
I reckon if we can solve this for a chicken dinner, it'd be a bargain.
He wants us to keep the body in a cold room until then, and he asked me for an estimate of time of death. I said about 48 hours, more or less.
You fellas think the Klan may have had something to do with this? You know, they have some meetings up here on Pine Mountain sometimes.
Well, I did hear they beat up a white boy over there near the county seat not long ago. Something to do with a colored girl.
Well, I reckon if I'm gonna find the answers by 4 o'clock, I better get going.
Anyway, I wouldn't rustle my tail feathers trying to find out who did it. That's probably hobos.
Hobos?
Happens all the time. That boy was probably drifting through with another couple of boys or so, and they probably seen something they wanted on him, like a pair of shoes or a shirt or something, and they killed him for it. Hobos always killing each other over whiskey or less.
Anyway, you can just forget about the Klan. You can just plain forget about it.
A lot of very highly thought of people in the Klan, Will Henry. Just leave them be. They can take care of things that sometimes you can't.
Yeah? Well, I don't hold with horse whippings and people that burn crosses to scare innocent colored folk. And I got no respect for a man who hides behind a white sheet. Now, you can repeat that any way you want to. Funderburk! Foxy! Hey, girl. Hey, come here. Hey, aren't you a beauty? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No wonder you're so proud. That's quite a family you got there, girl. Yeah.
You see, readiness. You weren't ready. I could have killed you. You wouldn't even have seen me.
Well, I didn't come up here expecting to get killed.
Exactly. Readiness. Police chief should always be ready for the unexpected.
I'll try to keep that in mind.
Suppose I should apologize for what I said at the station this morning.
Well, no need to do that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
To be sure. I already told Hugh Holmes I didn't think you were qualified for the job. I'll say what I mean straight out, not behind your back.
I prefer it that way.
What can I do for you?
Well, they tell me there was a disturbance up here a couple of nights ago. I thought you might have heard something.
What kind of disturbance?
Well, some folks say that the Klan sometimes holds meetings in that field over there across the road.
Sometimes, I guess. Not recently. Anyway, not in your jurisdiction. This is Justin County.
You're right about that. This is a special matter.
Huh? Well, I don't pay much attention to the Klan. They burn a cross once in a while. Keep the niggers thoughtful about their behavior.
I'm planning a book on forensic medicine, Frank. Did I tell you about it?
Well, are we going to have to wait for your book to come out, or do you have an opinion you'd like to share now?
You're new at this, aren't you, Will Lee?
Not as new as I was this morning.
Well, Chief, for your records, you can report that the victim, white male, about 16, died as a result of a fall. Prior to that, however, the lad had undergone tremendous physical abuse that probably made a broken neck seem like a blessing. He'd been bound hand and foot for an extended period by heavy wire handcuffs. Been beaten methodically on both sides, probably some sort of fixation. Now, the beating was administered by a heavy strap, possibly, but more likely a rubber hose. Now, the rubber hose is a police technique. Footnote. The lad was compelled throughout his torture to sit on some uncomfortable surface. Now, it's hard for me to tell what. But I think it was a heavy rim bucket or maybe even a keg, perhaps.
Come on, Carter. What's the rest of it?
There's no evidence that the boy had been sexually molested, but I think he escaped prematurely. Not a doubt in my mind that this whole episode wasn't sexually motivated.
I don't believe anything like that could happen in Delano.
Oh, when you've been chief a little bit longer, I think you're going to find that there's all kind of people in Delano like there is anywhere else. You sit beside them in church, and you pass them on the street. Probably even voted for one once in a while. Tell you what, Chief. I'll send you a set of the pictures. May need them for your file.
So, what'd the big doctor from the big city have to say?
Big doctor from the big city said that boy broke his neck running away from a sex maniac. Some kind of a pervert. Honey, you remember the other night when I arrested Grady Butts? You know what that kid of his said to me? He said, I hope you're gonna kill him. He wanted me to.
lot of the bad side of people. I mean, I know that. But I'd a lot rather have you dealing with the good and the bad than somebody who doesn't know the difference.
I don't know. Maybe Skeeter Willis and Foxy are right. Maybe I'm not cut out for this job.
We went into this together, remember?
Open up. Come on. That's it. Open up. All right. You had enough.
You dumbhead nigger. Spilling my milk. I'll teach you. Spill my milk. You like milk, do you? Huh? Come here. You like milk? Lick it up off the floor down there. Come here. Get back over here. Lap it up. You hear me? Lap it up. Come on. You hear me? Come back here. Come here.
Daddy.
Got no Cornado upon you.
Stop, Daddy. You can't go in there.
Come back here. You hear me?
Well, Carrie, what do you think of city life so far?
Well, the houses are closer together, but the children are harder to find. I don't know.
Never had to iron creases in my shirts before.
Any word on that boy yet?
No, but I got the photographs from Dr. Sauls. You know, old Skeeter Willis seems to think that boy was a runaway, riding the rails. Got mixed up with a bunch of hobos.
Yeah, he could be right, I suppose. I drove by that old hobo camp down by the tracks this morning on my way to church. There's a new batch of tourists down there from who knows where. Well, y'all have a pleasant afternoon.
Any of y'all ever seen this boy around here? Huh? You seen him? How about you? Look here. Seen that boy before? You ever seen him? Huh? You ever seen this boy before? I'm talking to you. All right, come on, move. Get the hell out of here, all of you. Let's go. Hit the road. Hey, boy, you, come back here. Where you from, boy?
Jackson, Michigan.
Look at that. See that? That boy's dead. You want to wind up like that on some undertaker slab hunk? Your folks wondering where you are?
No, sir.
Well, then you get the hell out of here. You don't come back. I don't want to see you around here again. You hear? You hear?
Howdy, Chief.
Where's that at, Sheriff?
Everything peaceful?
Oh, it's been like a church supper around here lately.
Well, I just talked to one of Sheriff Grundy's deputies over at Filling Station a while back.
Yeah?
Says they got themselves a murder up in Justin County.
Murder?
Nigger found him early yesterday morning. Half-naked young fella, hung up on a fence. 45 hole blown clean through it.
White boy?
Yeah, blonde kid. He's about the age of that boy you found up in Hodo's Bluff a while back. See, I would say that the hobos got themselves another one. There's a camp right near there where the boy was found. It's all cleared out by now. Hobos, they always leave their killings for somebody else to clean up after them. I best be going. Keep the peace.
You too, Skeeter.
Skeeter's mention of still another dead boy sent chills through Will Henry Lee. He was sure it was no coincidence. He dug out the notes he kept in that special black notebook and the pictures Dr. Sauls had taken. He knew he'd failed once. If this latest murder was kin to the first, he had to find out. He was a police chief. Still, he had to realize that Justin County was not in his jurisdiction. They was walking a tightrope between the two counties, not to mention two sheriffs.
Bells. Nobody been around here since the last rain.
Only time you can call in a passing the time of day is when someone's been killed. I don't much like that, Chief Lee.
No offense, Foxy.
Yeah, well, I find it downright offensive, I can tell you.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I figured since you hunt down there by that hobo camp, you might have seen something. Good hunter like you don't miss much.
You're right there. As far as I know, there haven't been any nights of the road in that bivouac for over a month now.
That's the way I figured it.
Maybe you'd like to come by when I have more time.
Yes, sir, I'll do that.
I buried him this morning.
Why so sudden?
Why not?
Well, I thought there might be a post-mortem or something.
Well, there's no doubt about the cause of death. No mystery about the victim. His name was Frank Collins. His aunt and uncle over in Wayville heard about the shooting. They came over and identified him. The boy ran away from his home in Ohio, they said.
Well, why didn't they want to send the body back to Ohio?
Said it wasn't practical. They placed a call to the boy's parents from here, in fact.
Excuse me, sir. Did you notice any marks on the body, anything unusual other than the gunshot wounds?
Yes. Bruise marks on the wrists, like he might have been tied up or handcuffed.
Well, I wonder if you wouldn't mind writing out a description of those bruises for me, exactly as you remember them, and sending them to me.
Well, I suppose I could do that, but it's already been investigated.
What do you mean?
Well, I asked his kin if they thought the boy had been arrested or something. They said he only left that house 4 days ago. There's been no record of him being picked up around here, according to Sheriff Grundy.
Lee, what the Sam Hill are you doing here?
Hello there, Sheriff Grundy. I was just checking on the death of that young boy. Mr. Underwood here seems to think he had the same kind of marks on his wrist like that other boy we found. All sounded kind of familiar to me.
Yeah?
And you've been harassing Foxy Funderburk again. He just called me. I don't like you badgering friends of mine. I don't like it at all.
Well, all I was doing was asking him about those hobos. You know, there's a camp near there. I think you're misinformed.
Now, hold it. Every time a two-bit town hands out a tin badge to a farmer, he thinks he's taking over. Now, let me just tell you something, Chief, so's you're not misinformed. I'm filing a formal complaint with your city council. And that fancy Hugh Holmes, maybe they'll see fit to either fire you or keep you out of my county and in your own little backyard. Now, why don't you do the duly elected law around here a favor and get on home?
What your daddy owes them for the window.
Thank you. Thank you.
You did the right thing, Will Henry. Emmett Spence is a bully. He could have hurt somebody.
Yeah, but that's not why I whipped him. I whipped him because it felt good. That's right. I'd just taken a whipping from an old hack who called himself a sheriff. His case has beaten me, Carrie. And I took it out on Emmett Spence because it felt good. That boy I buried, you remember? Huh? Someone had beaten him because it felt good. And now this boy, this one's been shot. Somebody did that because it felt good. You can't go around upholding the law and punishing people because it makes you feel good.
I think Delano's got a better police chief than it deserves. I still think Emmett Spence got the lacing he had coming.
Come on in now. Come on, Kate. Come on. Okay, boy, let's get at it. Get them sacks off and start shoveling. Now, I want every one of them sacks filled and stacked up over on that side over yonder.
Mr. Hoss, mighty bad out there now.
Are you back talking to me, boy?
No, sir. Only the snakes and fever in that slime water now.
There. You see any snakes floating? Maybe you just more yellow than you are black. Get on out there. You hear me? that's far enough. Come on back here and start filling up them sacks. Listen, you want to move your worthless carcass off this farm. Maybe that big chief friend of yours, Will Henry Lee, maybe he'll give you a job as a policeman.
Jesse braved the threat of snakes and Hoss Spencer's shotgun for days, laboring in that swamp. But the predator that laid Jesse low was a simple mosquito. Malaria turned the world into a swimming hallucination for Jesse. For more than a month, he shook with chills when he wasn't drenched in his own sweat. He couldn't work, so Hoss Spence ordered them off the farm.
Is Mr. Hoss still here?
No, Jesse. Mr. Will Henry, Miss Carey come to see you.
Tell Mr. Hoss I'll be up there tomorrow. What's the day?
Lie still now, lie still. Try to sleep some. Doctor said he wants you to sleep.
Well, he's a little better, and the medicine will help, but Jesse's going to have to suffer these malaria attacks off and on the rest of his life. By the way, Carrie, that was nice of you to get Ida Spray to let him move into this house.
Well, that's not exactly charity. Idis expects free carpentry for that rent.
Ain't but one reason for Jesse to be slogging around that swamp. Hoss Spence took it out on him for the whipping I gave his boy Emmett.
You don't know that, Will Henry.
I'm afraid it's so, Carrie. I heard Hoss Spence laughing about it in the hardware store 3 weeks ago.
How can these people live with themselves?
It's how they live with each other that baffles me. Miss Butts came in yesterday. I had to take 6 stitches in her face. I'd have called you, but their boy, you remember Sonny.
Yeah.
Well, he'd already taken a 2x4 to his daddy's head for hurting his mama.
Good Lord, they're going to end up killing one another yet.
Well, it'd pain me, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I tried never to be blind to hardship. I hope you understand that. But I was busy watching Delano grow right before my eyes. New homes, new streets. We had to print new city maps almost before the ink was dry in the last ones. I'm sure none of this mattered to young Joshua Cole. With his daddy sick, he was begging for odd jobs to earn a quarter here and there. Now and then he'd get a cleanup job at Rowden's grocery. But when you put a half-starved boy next to a lot of groceries, you surely know what's bound to happen.
Come on, Joshua. Come on. Now, you go on out there. You wait for me by the car, you hear? Go on now.
Now, look here, Will Henry. Now, I know his folks are on hard times. You can't just let him go. Now, I can't have the people of Braytown thinking they can just walk in and help themselves.
Yeah, and I'm not letting him go. Just trying to weigh the severity of the crime.
Oh, come on there, Will Henry. Now, you know that I don't want him sent to county camp, but now, isn't there another charge? A misdemeanor?
That's the way I see it, too, Ed. Thanks. Mr. Rowden says he's willing to call it petty theft, Joshua.
What does that mean, Mr. Will Henry?
Means the justice of peace is going to give you about 10 days. Now, you can work it off by clean streets for city manager Sam Greer. At least that way you'll be out in the fresh air daytime.
You mean I gotta stay in the jail nights? Locked up?
All right. I'll tell you what. I'll let you go home nights. But you got to promise me that you're going to be here every morning. Okay? You going to promise?
I sure will, Mr. Will Henry. I promise.
Here you go, T.T.
Many thanks. See you soon. All
right.
Oh, by the way, Will Henry, you may have a kid or somebody around here going into competition with you.
How's that?
Well, last month, somebody ordered a couple of pair of handcuffs through the mail. They only gave a box number, box 82. We sent the money back and told him to order through you.
Well, he must have found another line of work, because I hadn't heard anything about it.
I wouldn't expect so. Yeah, bye now.
All right, bye-bye. Chief Lee here.
Morning, Will Henry. Skeeter Willis here. Say, I got a call from the sheriff of Fuller County last night. A runaway boy from up there, a friend of his son's. He took a whipping last Sunday and run away from home. You know, kids.
Yeah, which way's he headed, Skeeter?
Well, they think Florida, but who knows? He'd probably been hitchhiking down 41, probably, your way.
You got a description on him?
Yeah, a blonde kid, about 5'7" or 8, light complected, a good-looking kid. Yeah, well, he's probably long gone now, but if you spot him, I'd appreciate you give me a call.
Yeah, I'll do that, Skeeter. Thank you.
They've been bound hand and foot for an extended period by heavy wire handcuffs, beaten methodically on both sides. Probably some sort of fixation. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that this whole episode was sexually motivated. Apparently, the lad was compelled to sit on some uncomfortable surface throughout his torture. Now, the beating was administered by a heavy strap, possibly, but more likely a rubber hose. Now, the rubber hose is a police technique.
Somebody ordered a couple of pair of handcuffs through the mail. They just gave a box number, box 82.
Hello, operator.
Miss Bessie, could you get me George over at the post office?
Yes, sir, Mr. Will.
Hello. George, it's Chief Lee here. I know you sorting mail this time of the morning. I wonder if you'd do me a favor.
Sure.
Could you tell me who's got box 82?
Sure, I have it right here. That'd be Foxy Funderburg.
Thank you, George. Sheriff Grundy, please. It's Chief Will Lee over in Delano. Well, you tell him when he gets back that I'm on my way over there. I'm gonna need his help in getting a warrant. And never mind for what. You just tell him that I got evidence of a crime that's not in my jurisdiction. And ask him to wait for me, would you? Thank you.
Well, Will Henry, that Joshua Cole never showed up this morning for street cleaning.
Well, Sam, I don't have time right now. I gotta get over to Justin County.
God damn it, Will, I told you not to let him go home nights. Now, he's supposed to be in your custody, and I want him. Will Henry, I want him now. Have you seen the clutter on Main Street? I've already had 2 calls this morning.
Sam, look, you are the city manager. If you can't manage the city one day without that kid... All right, come on, let's go.
Mama, I gotta show up. I promised.
Your daddy's sick to death here. Mr. Will Henry ain't gonna mind you staying home with me one day.
Mr. Hoss, whooping my boy. Don't do that. I tell you, don't do that.
It's all right. It's all right, Jesse. Joshua here with you. Come, drink some water.
Joshua? Mr. Hoss got no right whipping my boy. Joshua?
I'm right here, Daddy.
Joshua! Hey, Joshua! Joshua!
Oh, Mr. Will Henry. Jesse's real sick. I'd keep Joshua home if I needed help.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You want me to call Dr. Manton?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
What's Mr. Hoss doing here? Mr. Hoss don't whoop my boy. Got no right. He's gonna leave us be. Mr. Hoss, leave us be.
Foxy, thank God. Come over here. Help me with him. We've got to get him to Doc Manton.
Oh, we didn't mean it.
Daddy, we gotta stop. We gotta go back.
No. Help me now. I just shot Hoss Spence. You hear him?
It wasn't Hoss, Daddy. It was Mr. Will Henry. Mr. Will Henry.
Don't talk crazy to me.
You ain't talking crazy, Daddy. You shot Mr. Will Henry. Honest, you did. Mr. Will Henry.
God Almighty. Oh, no. Joshua, listen to me now. Listen to me good. You got to run for it. Now you get to the highway.
I ain't leaving you.
Do as I say. They hang a nigger boy for nothing. Hitch a ride to Columbus. Go to your Uncle Tyler there. Tyler.
Daddy.
Uncle Tyler, you hear? Now get for they get to coming after you. Run! Tell me, what did I do?
you, Will Henry.
You.
The town of Delano had taken root and grown. We weren't old enough to be in any history books, but we already had a second generation that could call the place home. I suppose they must have had a parade in every town in America in the summer of 1945, welcoming our servicemen home from the Second World War. A lot of towns might have had bigger parades and better bands than Delano, but we did our best. I was still chairman of the city council, a member of the state senate, and more recently the state board of education. I've been making speeches to 2 generations by then. I tried not to abuse the privilege. Foxy Funderburk seemed to look forward to parades. It gave him a chance to wear the old uniform he'd been saving from the Moors since World War I. Sonny Butts wore his uniform as though he'd been born in it. Most folks had forgotten his father, a brutal, drunken man, dead in a farm accident years before. But for his mother, this was the high point of a hard life, to see her son honored by the town. Sheriff Skeeter Willis was still the law in Mainbridge County. Times were changing, but voting for Skeeter seemed a hard habit to break. The war had given some of our young Negroes a chance to better themselves. Marshal Peters, for instance, had learned a trade in the Army. He and his wife Annie looked forward to a business of their own. Carrie Lee had fought back as best she could after Will Henry's death. She knew tears couldn't raise 2 children and put them through college. So she opened her own store, which by then was selling the most fashionable ladies' wear anywhere this side of Atlanta. Her son, Billy Lee, was working for a big city law firm when he left to join the Air Corps. He got to be a lieutenant colonel flying airplanes. He didn't have any better plans for his future. I did. Will Henry would have been proud of his daughter, too. Ellie'd lost her new husband in the war. She grieved for a while, but there's a lot of her mother in her. They became partners in the shop. But it was the new member of the Lee family I was anxious to see. I'd heard Billy brought back a beautiful English-Irish war bride.
I say, welcome home, all of you. We've tried to keep Delano a decent town, a town you'd be proud to come home to. As a small but tangible way of saying thank you, the city council's voted to offer the first openings on city jobs to returning veterans. As a first step in that direction, the council just this morning appointed the state's most decorated soldier, First Sergeant Sonny Butts, to the vacancy in the Delano Police Force.
Stand up and salute, you suckers.
Now, Colonel Lee, would you do us the honor of dismissing these gentlemen so as they can find out what a Delano welcome's really like?
Attention! Dismissed!
Hey, Marshal!
Hey, Billy! I mean, Colonel.
Good to see you. I just heard you were awarded the Bronze Star in Italy. Is that right?
Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
You got a good man here, Annie.
Yes, sir. That's a fact.
There you are, Colonel. I just had what seems to me a first-class idea. Why don't we have Sergeant Peters here? Marshal, why don't we have him assemble the troops this time and you give the speech?
Oh, well, I don't know.
No. I'm sure the men would like that, Mr. Billy.
All right. I think I'd like to do that, Marshal. Trish, Mama, Ellie, y'all go on along. We'll join you later.
Let's go.
You look real pretty, Annie.
Oh, thank you, Miss Carey.
Don't like to sound like a tourist in my new home, but do they always have separate ceremonies like this? That is a good question, Trish, but 20 years ago, there wouldn't even have been a second ceremony.
Sheriff Skeeter Willis seemed to approve of Sonny's appointment to the police department. He never thought much of Officer Charlie Ward there.
Right. And, Sonny, do you know Chief Thomas?
Or of our aging police chief, Melvin Thomas.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Chief. Well, Sonny, I think you got what it takes. I think you and me gonna hit it off first rate, Sarge.
You can bet on that, Skeeter.
I wish your daddy was alive to see you today.
You do? I'd probably have to arrest him for drunk and disorderly. At least he spared us that, Mama.
I got your room all fixed up for you. And I'm making chicken tonight, special.
Not tonight, Mama, huh? I got some relaxing to do. It's been a long time.
Sure, Sonny, whatever you say.
Well, I think I see some wild oats sprouting. Why don't you let me drive you home, Miss Butts? It'd be a pleasure.
Oh, no. Thank you. Take care now.
Sonny, it's gonna be great having you on the force. Believe you me. We're gonna snatch some folks' heads sideways around this town.
Just don't you ever grab a hold of me, Charlie. And we get along just fine.
Sure, Sonny. Sure.
Sergeant, congratulations.
Thank you. General?
You've done a fine job for your country, Sergeant. I understand you were considered for the Medal of Honor.
Politics.
Yes. Well, I want you to know that my experience is always available to you. If you ever need any help, just ask.
I'll do that.
Yeah, fools.
I'll be damned. Oh, Foxy Funderburk.
Yeah, he's a little long.
You know, a lot of the colored in town still remember it was a colored man killed your daddy.
Well, then they probably also remember he was executed for it.
They were listening to every word you said today. I watched them. It was a good reaction.
I wasn't aware I was making a political speech.
Oh, when you get right down to it, every speech is political. You've got all the qualifications. Returning veteran, combat decorated officer, farmer, lawyer with an English war bride to boot for international flavor.
Wait a minute. You said farmer somewhere in that list of credentials.
Well, it might be arranged if you're not dead set and going back with that bunch of big city lawyers you were working for.
No, somehow I can't quite imagine myself sitting back, making out wills, watching my name creep slowly up in a long list of junior partners on that law firm stationery. I don't want to just watch things happen anymore. I want to make them happen. Is that another political speech?
It'll do. It'll do nicely. You might do well to jot it down. You know, I'm slowing up some, but I still like to make things happen. It's very satisfying. I think I might drop out of the state senate this next time around. I've just been waiting for the right man to come along to take my place. It's a good stepping stone.
We can run the department just about any which way we want to, Sonny. I ain't kidding. I mean, old Chief Thomas, he got a bad ticker, you know. He tries not to let on, but he goes home every day for a 2-hour nap and a lunch, so he won't keel over. As long as we write up enough tickets, keeping niggers quiet and breakdown, just like we was our own boss. Right like that.
I like that just fine. The blonde, yellow dress. What's her name?
Her name's Charlene. She's from LaGrange. I wouldn't mess with her, though, Sonny. That sailor she's with, she's got a pretty mean reputation around here.
There ain't room but for one mean reputation around here. Shove off. Me and Charlene's gonna get acquainted. Hey, get lost, Hick. Oh, you just made a big mistake, Swabby. Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. You want to dance or what?
Does Mickey Shelton know you planning on opening a repair garage, Marshal?
Didn't figure I had to notify him, sir.
That's where you learned auto mechanics, isn't it, Mickey Shelton?
No, sir. I never did much but grease jobs and oil changes for Mickey Shelton. It was in the Army where I really learned my trade. They used to call me Dr. Peters. I can get any old half-dead truck back in action.
Dr. Peters, huh? Well.
Hey, I can fix anything that moves on a car or truck.
How about you, Annie? You willing to wash all those greasy rags and keep the books to see he makes a go of it?
Yes, sir. I know he can do it.
You're a good man, Marshal. I'd like to help. The bank will loan you $1,000 for your down payment on this house and barn.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You come see me tomorrow. I've got another stop to make. I might not get back to the bank this afternoon.
First thing, sir.
In his first 3 months on the job, Sonny Potts set some kind of record for handing out traffic citations. Sonny also talked Chief Thomas into buying a motorcycle for police work. He claimed it had something to do with economy. Actually, I think it had more to do with visibility. Sonny liked to be seen riding through town, uniform, gun and all. I had no real objection to that, but something about it bothered me.
You know, I was born not 50 yards from where you're standing.
I know. You grew cotton and you had a horse called Dapple.
Dapple. Horace Spence always wanted to buy this place, but I never would sell it to him. Never thought he belonged here, somehow. There are still 641 acres.
Well, I guess that would qualify me as a farmer with the voters.
Certainly qualify you with me.
Mr. Hugh, we can afford it.
Well, as Delano's newest attorney at law, with both the bank and the mill as your first clients, I believe we can come to terms. There's just one stipulation. I'd like to make you a gift. A brick for your new house. As a wedding present. I thought about it a long time. I want to give you something that's going to last.
Thank you, sir.
Sonny took to riding that motorcycle more and more, hunting expeditions for speeders. One day, he decided to try his luck up on the road from Pine Mountain.
I'll be damned. Wonder if the old boy's starting his own police force.
Hope you're not cutting these speeding tickets too thin, Sonny. Don't want us getting the reputation as a speed trap, you know. Well, I reckon I'll head on home for lunch, Sonny. You hold the fort, huh?
All right. Oh, Chief. I've been meaning to ask you about that old roll-top desk back there.
Look, if you can use it, it's all yours.
That old roll-top desk I gave Chief Will Henry Lee years before hadn't been used since. Just gathering dust. If it had been sold at the church auction like Chief Thomas planned, some charitable soul would have gotten a shock. There, in Chief Lee's old black notebook, photos taken in the Maddox mortuary were all the details of that unsolved murder more than 20 years back. Those lurid notes about torture, death, seemed to fascinate Sonny.
Sonny? You wouldn't believe it. Caught old Pieback begging for money in the middle of Main Street. So drunk he can't even stand up.
Oh, he can stand up. Look at him. You ever see a nigger stand up that straight? Hey, 2, 3, 4. Hey, 2, 3, 4. Hey, 2, 3, 4. Whoa! At ease.
2, 3, 4. 2.
Billy and Patricia Lee lost no time getting their new home started. Billy was so busy with his new law practice and making plans for a political campaign, he left most of the supervising to her. I had a feeling the house would be the better for that.
Afternoon, Colonel. Miss Lee.
Sonny?
Fella just delivered your new car.
Is that right?
I thought he might get lost coming out here, so I offered to drive it out and bring you the keys and the papers. He said you can just mail that paper there back to him.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Don't mention it. I hear you're wanting to sell the convertible here.
Not so much wanting to as needing to.
Mind if I take a look-see?
No, go ahead. Here, engine's been completely overhauled.
Looks like something right out of the factory. Who did the work on her, Mickey Shelton?
No, Marshall Peters.
I've never seen a nigger yet could fix more than a wheelbarrow.
Well, I don't suppose a lot of them ever had much more than a wheelbarrow to work on. Marshall learned auto mechanics in the Army. He's first rate.
Eleanor Roosevelt's niggers. We got along just fine without them, Colonel. How much you asking for?
Well, you know, I'll tell you, Sonny. This car's got a lot of sentimental value to us.
Oh, I understand that. That part of her you can keep. You tell me a fair price for the rest of her, and I'll write you out a check right now. Hey, boy! Peters, you got a customer here. Whose car you tearing up here?
Smitty's. Transmission job.
Well, I just bought Colonel Lee's new convertible out there. Got a shimmy in her.
And them real caps to do that sometimes at high speeds.
Yeah, well, you just go balance her up. I ain't got much time.
I'd like to help you, Mr. Butts, but I promised Smitty this transmission job by this evening. Now, if you bring it in tomorrow, it won't hurt to drive until then.
That's about what I figured. Should have known better to think a nigger could fix it. Wasting my time. Hell, boy. You gonna be back at Mickey Shelton's in a month anyways. Sweeping floors, fixing flats.
You talk to Colored better than you talk to him.
Is that a fact?
A political meeting of sorts was held one night in a hillside on Pine Mountain. The Klan initiated Sonny Butts as a member. Tommy Allen was a senior statesman in the Klan. By that time, he turned over the reins to Emmett Spence, who'd grown into the image of his daddy horse, every inch his mane. This small group served as a sort of political action committee for the Klan. Their action, as usual, had a single focus.
It's time we did something about our nigger soldier boy.
That's right. And I say we start with Mr. Marshall Peters.
Mickey's right. Marshall Peters is a leader in Braytown. getting them all stirred up. Registering to vote.
Okay, let's burn them out.
Burn him out. That's all we got to do. No, ain't gonna be no burning or horse whipping. We'll just bring the whole town down around us.
Yeah, Tommy's right. We gotta do this legal. For instance, I find some way to get Marshal Peters in jail. And once I get him in jail, I guarantee you, he won't be a problem to nobody no more.
Dear Chief Lee, as per your request regarding the deceased young boy, Frank Collins, who I embalmed yesterday, as described to you earlier, in addition to the bullet wound from a heavy firearm.
Contents of Chief Lee's old roll-top desk continued to fascinate Sonny Butts, especially the notes and papers referring to the unsolved murders of several young boys.
FF ordered handcuffs. T.T. Brown, police supply. FF ordered handcuffs.
What can I do for you, Officer Butts?
That's what I was just about to ask you.
Ask me? Ask me what?
Nice place you got here. Real nice. Tucked way back. Real quiet like. Could raise a lot of hell back here and nobody'd know the difference.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, target practice, things like that. They say you're pretty good with guns.
I stay proficient with firearms, yes.
That's good. Did you ever think of going into police work? I mean, with your experience.
No. Well, one time, maybe. Not really.
Yeah. Well, things have changed a lot, I guess. Not like the old days when old Chief Lee first started. You remember him?
Yes. Well, he was really just a farmer. Ought never to have been chief of police, I always said.
Well, he sure kept some real interesting records.
What's that?
I gotta get back on patrol. I'll drop in again.
Might be a good idea to give me a call first. I get a little busy sometimes. Just give me a call.
I'll do that. I'll give you a call.
I was just opening the garage this morning, and I found the lock broke. When I looked around to see if anything been stolen, I come on this.
He called me. I told him to bring it directly here.
You haven't got some friends running shine, have you, Peters?
No, sir. I ain't never been mixed up in that kind of stuff.
Chief, someone's obviously trying to put the frame on Marshall.
I wouldn't go so far as that just yet. I'll have Officer Butts go out and take a look around later.
I'd prefer to have you go out there with us right now, Chief. I want you to impound this as evidence, and then I'd appreciate it if you'd personally investigate the break-in yourself. Make the official report.
Charlie, lock this stuff up in a cell for the time being.
You nervous, Charlie? You look a little nervous. That's evidence. I wouldn't want you to drop that. Morning, Chief. I'm Marshal Peters' attorney. May I ask you just what the devil you think you're doing here, Sheriff?
Take it easy, Counselor. We got a tip this morning that your client was running white lightning from his garage. I got a warrant here, all legal and proper.
Peters turned in the white lightning to me a few minutes ago.
That's pretty damn smart of you, Peters. You must have known we had the tip, right?
You can ask me your questions, Butts. Marshal found his place had been broken into. He called me first thing when he discovered the alcohol. Now, could have just hidden the stuff, but called a lawyer and asked for advice, and I gave it to him. If I were your lawyer, I would advise you to try and find out who attempted to frame him. Your search here looks like deliberate vandalism to me.
Come over here a second, Billy. Come on. Come on. I'm not altogether convinced that folks around here is ready to make a state senator out of a nigger lawyer. You ought to think about that a real long time. Your daddy got himself killed trying to be nice to these folks.
My daddy was killed by a man half dead with malaria. Out of his head with fever, protecting his son.
Just try and be helpful, Colonel.
I just wish your daddy was alive to see you in your uniform.
I hope he's steaming in hell.
Sonny, you shouldn't talk that way on a Sunday.
Why not? Sunday's never made no difference to him. Mama, he cheated on you. Beat you up. Beat me up. Sundays included.
Yes, but he was always a good man. Before you were born, if you could have known him then.
Just forget it, Mama, okay?
At least your daddy was killed doing a good deed, helping poor Mr. Meacham with that plowing. Before that big old tractor rolled over on him. Killed him right before your very eyes.
Mama!
I'll never forgive myself for sending you with his lunch that day. Your young eyes to see a thing like that to remember the rest of your days.
Mama, cut it out!
No, it's all right for a son to know. He had a noble character, down deep. He gave it to you, he did. That's what gave you the courage to win all them medals, Sonny. You was born to it, I'd say. You can thank your daddy for that.
That's a lie. That's a damn lie. I've sat and listened to it all my life. And I'm not gonna sit and listen to it no more. You wanna know what happened that day at the Meacham farm? I'll tell you what happened. When I got there with Daddy's lunch, he was crawling all over that Dempsey widow in the hedgerow. Damn it, Mama, look at me! I waited. When she left, Daddy come out and sat back against the tractor wheel in the shade and fell asleep drunk. Mama, you listen to me now. I started up that tractor, and I drove it over him. I drove it over him. And I squashed him like the manure maggot he was. That's right. I killed him. along. And I tipped that tractor over on him so it didn't look like an accident. When they got there, it looked like I was trying to get it off of him. So I don't want to hear no more. But how noble and full of charity he was. Ever! Ever.
Trish, I am so happy for you. Thought it was about time I made you an aunt.
Of course, I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, thank you. Hugh, is something the matter?
I just come from the funeral home. Chief Thomas dropped dead in the steps of the Baptist church 2 hours ago.
Oh, no.
Council members have already been phoning each other. Tried to veto it, but they're bound and determined to make Sonny Butts police chief.
Good Lord.
What the devil are they thinking of? Are they blind? Can't they see what's going on?
I have pushed as hard as I can on this. To a lot of folks, the fact that the colored have been complaining about Sonny just means he's doing a good job.
Isn't there anything we can do about it?
Yes. The first thing you can do is win the election.
Yeah, Louise is right. We got a primary on our hands. Let's not rock that boat right now.
How about that? Chief! Charlie, we gonna get rid of all his junk.
You want me to clear out that old roll top in the back there?
No, I'll take care of that. I don't want you messing in that desk.
Right, Chief.
Sonny, I'll be going. And I won't tell you, congratulations.
Looking forward to working with you, Skeeter. Looking forward to it.
You bet. Look, I know a lot of do-gooders around here been bellyaching about certain things. But this says that the council's behind you, and that's good. So you play your cards right, aim where you kick. And you're gonna end up with a lot of political clout around here.
All right. Oh, Skeeter, I've been meaning to ask you, what do you know about Foxy Funderburk?
Foxy? What about Foxy?
I don't know. He's sort of an odd sock. Has he ever been up to anything he shouldn't have been that you know of?
Foxy maybe has a screw loose here or there, but he's harmless. Hell's fire, if he'd have been more sociable going to church around here, he'd end up your first police chief years back.
Is that a fact?
Oh, yeah. Take care of yourself.
You too now.
Hey, where you been all my life?
Well, I haven't been where you've been. Must be.
Maybe we ought to do something about that situation.
I wouldn't know what to do about that situation.
I can think of one thing real fast.
You do that. Betty? What do you want?
Oh, come on now. Big girl like you?
Really now, go away or I'll scream.
No. You don't look like no screamer to me.
Shut up!
Looky there. Evening, Peters. Miss Peters?
Evening. What can I do for you?
Well, nothing much. We just got some more word on that moonshine business. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd come on down to the station with us and look at something.
Look at what?
No need to hang you up, Miss Peters. You might as well go along home. You just take a few minutes, Peters, and we can probably clear up this mess for good. You going home now? We drive him home ourselves.
Yeah. You're going now, yeah. I'll be home soon. Drive careful now, you hear me?
Hold it right there, boy. Get in there. Face that wall! Right. On your knees! On your knees! On your knees! Now move! Move it! Move it! Move it! Come on, you want to make this, Jack? Come on! Move it! We got a customer for you, Doc.
This way.
Her. In here. Easy with it.
What happened?
We was interrogating the prisoner, and he started fighting. And he grabbed a knife. Charlie had to shoot him.
He was fighting like crazy. Knife and all. He'd have killed Sonny.
Don't think he went crazy on me. Here. Here. Look at what he did.
Get the hell out of here. Wait outside. Did you fight with Sonny Butts or Charlie Ward? The two officers who brought you here, did you hit either one of them? Hands tied. They kept hitting me. Why did they arrest you? What did you do? They just picked me up. Started hitting me. Annie. Where's Annie?
I also took down Marshall's dying words, word for word. And those bruises Sonny Butts showed me were hours old.
All right, that's going to a grand jury. I'm going to call the county prosecutor tonight.
Trying to pin this on Sonny Butts in a white community is going to be next to impossible.
I know that.
I expect you do. I hope you also know this could cost you the election.
To hell with the election. I mean it. I don't want it bad enough to shut up and lie down for it.
I think it's time I wrote that editorial. Time the public got a whiff of what goes on in Butts' personal jail.
Shut up! We already been inside. You write this about Sonny Butts?
I don't know.
Yeah, no. But you ain't gonna print it, Mr. New Jersey editor. You ain't gonna print nothing about this, or I'll blow your head right off your neck. You hear me? All right, now I want to hear you say it. You ain't printing nothing.
Nothing. I won't print anything.
All right. Now, don't you forget. I'll burn this dump with you in it. You stand there and smell this stinking wall, and don't you turn around. I'll blast you where you stand.
Mr. Hugh, have you talked to Bob Blankenship? I haven't been able to reach him.
Linotype operator at the paper said he had to go off to New Jersey on business.
Tom, I'm going to take your deposition and Annie's over to the county prosecutor.
Would you like me to come with you?
No, darling, I'm doing a Rotary meeting afterwards. I could be very late.
Well, I'll drive you home, Trish.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye, Tom. You know, I'm concerned about Bob Blankenship disappearing like this. He was going to print an editorial on this whole thing. Now he runs off on a mysterious trip to New Jersey. I hope the Klan isn't getting into this.
Hello? Hello?
Miss Lee, I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Who is this?
They're going to come out there tonight, Miss Lee. They're going to burn you out. I don't want nobody to get hurt. You better get away from there tonight. You hear?
Burn us out? Who's going to burn us out? Who is this?
It's hard to believe that anyone would do a thing like this.
I know.
Feelings run deep around here, Trish. Now they can see that Billy is set on dragging those feelings into court.
Listen, Ellie, you don't have to wait here. Why don't you take the station wagon? I can pick it up tomorrow. Billy will be home soon.
Wild horses couldn't drag me away from here.
Listen. Oh, I'd love to get a good look at who they are.
Melanie, come out, man, to the justice of the clan!
I don't have to see him. That's Emmett Spence.
Billy! Burn him out! Come on, Sally! Billy, you coming out? Or do we burn you out?
Where you headed?
South.
Throw your bag in the back. Hop in.
Trish and Billy Lee gave me a personal tour of their new home. Mighty handsome place. But my pleasure was dulled a bit when I realized the grand jury hearing that was coming on us could jeopardize all Billy's hopes for the future.
You're afraid that Trish's double-barreled support may be offset by the grand jury hearing?
Touchy business, Billy. You're poking around in people's feelings, things nobody's even thought about for generations.
Well, maybe it's time we got him out in the open. You know, this isn't a matter of race, Mr. Hugh. It's a simple case of right and wrong.
You know this whole grand jury hearing could backfire right in our faces, don't you? Skeeter Willis is backing Sonny Butts all the way. I just heard that Emmett's daddy, Hoss Spence, is on the jury.
Good. Let them draw the lines. At least people are going to see which side of that line I stand on. I'm not going to turn my back on murder.
Imagine Sonny Butts showed up at the fair looking for a way to forget his problems with that grand jury. By the time he got there, I expect he'd already tried to drown his troubles in a pint of moonshine. That's dangerous fuel.
While they even walk and talk, so come on in. Bring your friends and neighbors. You girls come in. Maybe you can learn something. Who knows?
tough. The peach is absolutely outstanding. Not only that, but I understand it was baked by the secretary of the Women's Democratic Committee. But in spite of that, I'm going to risk my entire future and pick the sweet potato.
Just a minute. Wait a minute. I want you to know that my husband only has one vote in our house. And I would like to ask our runner-up for the recipe for the peach.
I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if Billy can ever be elected governor or not, but she surely can.
Leave me alone, you're drunk.
That's right. Give us some action here.
Stop it! Get away from me! No! Daddy, help me!
that, Sonny.
Resisting arrest.
Buns, listen to me. Get out of here, go home, and you stay there. You're all finished now. You hear me, Butts? Now clear on out of here. Right now.
Everybody, now it's all over. Now, go on, clear out. This is nothing to see. Go on.
Get a doctor for him.
Then I want to talk to your carnival manager about pressing charges, okay?
Billy. Telephone the commander of the state police. I want them in town tonight. There's no telling what that crazy fool might try next.
Sonny Butts was nothing else. He was a fighter. He must have stayed awake most of the night concocting some story to explain his behavior at the fairgrounds. But he surely wasn't prepared to find a state patrol car parked in his place at the police station the next morning.
Charlie! Officer Ward won't be in this morning. I'm Dave Barker from Headquarters Post. I'll be taking his place today.
Who says?
Well, I think it was an order from the governor's office, Chief. By the way, Mr. Hugh Holmes called. He says you're to be at City Hall at 12:30 sharp. He wants you to wait in the city manager's office till he's ready for you.
At the same time, the grand jury hearing was going on in the Greenville courthouse on Marshal Peters' death. Skeeter was there only as an observer. But Horace Spence was a member of the grand jury. He had a real influence in the outcome.
Ms. Lee, you saw Marshal Peters on the night in question, just before 9 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Marshall and Annie were in my shop. We're open late on Saturdays. Marshall wanted to buy Annie a dress.
Did you detect the odor of alcohol on Marshal Peters at any time?
No, sir, I did not. None whatsoever.
Chief. Chief! Capitol Police on your line. Some guy in missing persons wants to talk to you.
Yeah. You called us a while back about missing persons, remember?
Yeah.
We get hundreds of them here, but I thought this one might be in your neck of the woods. This kid's folks think he might be headed for Florida. If he was hitchhiking to Florida, he'd have to take Highway 41.
Yeah, probably.
There's no other road. That'd bring him right to you. You'll probably be getting a bulletin on this, but I thought I'd phone you his description just in case.
Yeah, go ahead.
Harvey Charles Mix, age 16. Height 5'9", weight 135. Reddish blonde hair, green eyes. You got that?
Yeah. Much obliged. Yeah. I got it all. You better believe it.
Hi, back. You were an inmate in the Delano jail on the night in question?
Yes, I use in there Saturday nights.
Tell us exactly what you saw and heard, Pieback.
Well, it's just like Sheriff Skeeter there and Chief Butts say. Marshall was yelling, fighting, just like they say.
Hey there, Foxy. What you planting there? You just hold it. Right there, Foxy, baby. I told you I'd drop it on you again. Let's see what you're planting here. I'll be damned. How many more of these young fellas you got planted around here, Fox? Huh? You always said you wanted to help. Well, let me tell you something, Foxy, baby. You and that shovel just dug me out of a hole deeper than this one. You just saved my neck, old buddy. Yes, sir. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't just win me the Nobel Prize. Ah!
Did all you could, Billy. Why would that poor old colored man lie like that?
I suppose old Pieback is such a fixture in that jail after all these years. He probably figures anything Skeeter Willis tells him to say is gospel. Huh. Oh, it's ironic. I guess Sonny Butts miscalculated the skill of his friend the sheriff, taking off like that before the council even had a chance to fire him.
Do you think he'll come back now that the grand jury cleared him?
I don't know. State Patrol went to his room. He didn't even take his clothes. They fined him about all we could charge him with is stealing a city motorcycle.
All right. Not all the news is good. Sheriff Skeeter Willis has been reelected. As for the state senate seat, formerly held by a humble servant, I regret to say that final returns from the Tri-County area show that you are all in for a sorry political experience. You're all just going to have to grin and bear it. Stand here like good soldiers while we listen to all the boring cliches of a victory speech from our new state senator, Billy Lee.
In 1962, several police chiefs had come and gone in Delano. The town had changed, too. The death of Marshal Peters, disappearance of Chief Sonny Butts, both faded into memory. Sooner or later, everything does. Billy Lee and Patricia still kept their home in Delano, but by then Billy was spending most of his time in the State House. Mother Carrie passed away 2 years before, but not before she saw her son elected lieutenant governor of the state. Billy was going to run for governor. I knew that. But there were things brewing in Washington that made me believe that his future might be even brighter.
Morning, Hugh. Oh, you're up early. My age, you can't afford to sleep late, Billy. I keep setting these state board meetings earlier and earlier, hoping I'm going to miss one.
That'll be the day.
Yeah, aren't you going to tell me about it?
Tell you about what?
I had my spies in this state house when you were in short pants, Lieutenant Governor. I'm talking about the letter you got from President Kennedy.
Nothing earth-shaking. He just said he wanted to congratulate me on the readiness of my Air National Guard unit during the recent missile crisis, et cetera, et cetera.
You read between the lines, Billy. They got their eye on you in Washington.
Well, you let me know if your spies uncover anything.
Yeah, of course, I know you got more important things in your mind, far beyond the scope of little old Delano.
Save your breath, you. I'm working on it. In fact, John Breen, the chief of police here, is stopping by with a couple of resumes. You may have your new police chief after all.
That's fine.
Well, Breen's probably already here. Come on, we'll see what he's got. Oh, sorry to keep you waiting, Chief. You know Hugh Holmes?
Mr. Holmes.
Chief Breen?
Long time. Labor Day parade 2 or 3 years back.
You've got a good memory. Have you got us a police chief for Delano yet?
Well, I wish I could say no. By that, I mean, I wish I could have him myself.
Just one candidate?
Oh, one's all you need when you have qualifications like that. This Major Watts is A1 material. I'd hire him myself.
I can see why. How come you didn't?
Well, we have a policy of promoting from within. Major Watts there's frankly overqualified for anything I could offer him.
Outstanding record. Military police?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's stationed at the Army base out here. Retiring early in the month. Well, Lieutenant Governor, I've got to run. I've got a meeting across the way in 10 minutes. If I can be of any further assistance.
Thanks for your help, Chief. I'll be in touch.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
You know, I've got to go out to the base this afternoon and clean up some National Guard business. I could call this Major Watts, ask him to come out there and meet me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if he's as good as this looks, you ought to nail him down before he gets away. I could set up a council meeting Friday at 4.
Done. I'll see if I can get Major Watts to go peaceably.
Billy Lee was the ranking officer of our Air National Guard, but I was still convinced that note from the president was some kind of early political signal. At my age, you develop an intuition about those things. Also, at my age, you tend to get a little careless. I should have known Chief Breen was just a tad too obliging in Billy's office. Should have known he wasn't trying to make life easy for us.
Lieutenant Governor Lee. Yes? I'm Tyler Watts. I take it Chief Breen forgot to mention that the overqualified major he was recommending was a Negro.
Oh, you're damned.
I certainly hope not. Hop in.
Well, since you'd be the first black police chief, maybe you should be interviewing me.
Well, I've commanded white troops before.
We have 6 policemen. I guess a couple of them think they're cowboys.
Well, I'd want to have complete authority to hire and fire. Any of you cowboys related to a city councilman?
I don't know, but you can ask. How's Friday at 4 sound for a special council meeting?
Well, that sounds fine. You might tell them I'd like to take a look at the department budget. If it's too lean, I'm dead before I start.
Sounds reasonable. You know, as far as I'm concerned, your record speaks for itself.
That may not be enough in Delano. Am I right?
I hope you're wrong. I really do. But every town has its own ghost, I suppose. My father was the first police chief in Delano.
Yeah, well, Chief Breen mentioned it. He was killed by a black man, I understand, in the line of duty.
Yes. It was a tragic set of circumstances, and very few people understood at the time. It still sticks in some minds. Then after the war, a black veteran was murdered in the Delano jail by Sonny Butts, a returning hero who'd become chief by default. I tell you all this, Watts, so you'll be forewarned. In Delano, it's not just as simple as black and white.
Well, I appreciate your candor.
Shall we say Friday, then?
The lieutenant governor, how did he sing towards you?
He was fine. He didn't call me boy once.
I don't think that's funny, Tyler.
You're right.
Why Delano, of all places?
Well, at first I called it coincidence, but now maybe it's fate. Hey, look, they might not even give me what I want.
You sure Mr. Lee didn't recognize you?
Not a chance. All us Chinese look alike. You know that.
I'm afraid.
Why?
Because all we need is for sooner or later somebody to walk up to you on the street and go, "Hi, Joshua." No, I mean, think about it. Now, what would we do if it got out that Chief Tyler Watts, the law in Delano, is really sweet, lovable little Joshua Cole, whose daddy killed the lieutenant governor's own father?
After 40 years, I was still chairman of the council. I didn't always get my way, but I always got my say. When Friday came, I asked Billy to cool his heels outside while I tried to, as the Bible says, temper the wind to the shore and land.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lee.
Hey, Jim.
Hot day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you. You know, if all this goes well and you do take up residence, we'll probably be calling each other by our first names, and maybe we ought to practice. Tyler?
Well, if you don't think it's premature, Billy. I wasn't sure whether I should wear the uniform.
Why not? What are your qualifications? Looks good.
So far, so good, eh?
You're not nervous about all this, are you?
Well, not if you're not.
Then we both are. It's not too easy, is it? Standing on the brink of history?
Is that what this is?
Oh, I agree absolutely, Tom. The man's record's extraordinary. I'm delighted by the unanimous enthusiasm you've all indicated. I can only assume that this enthusiasm will not be diluted when I add one additional fact. Major Watts is a Negro. Nowadays, some folks are starting to say black. Well, that's fine. The word is black. The job is police chief. Black police chief. Now, while y'all are still stunned by the sound of that, let me tell you why the sound of that's exactly what Delano needs. Gentlemen, we are striving for enlightenment here. Well, let me enlighten you.
Delano's grown a lot since my father was chief here.
I would imagine.
I'm afraid, however, that one section of town hadn't changed a whole lot.
Those sections of a town seldom do.
They call it Braytown after old Addis Bray, who owned most of the real estate once. You'll have your share of problems there, Tyler. If you're too easy with the blacks, your men will resent it. If you're too tough, well, then the blacks will accuse you of being an Uncle Tom.
You're assuming I'll have a chance to work it out.
Well, Hugh Holmes practically built this town. I'm assuming he's still pretty good at laying bricks.
Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Holmes says you and the gentleman can come on in now.
Well, that's a start. I've never heard Claude call a black man gentleman in my life. Good afternoon, gentlemen. 38 years ago, in Delano's first city hall, my father, Will Henry Lee, came before the city council to be sworn in as your first chief of police. If he were here today, I know he'd be proud, just as proud as I am, to introduce you to Major Tyler Watts.
Have a chair.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your help, Alex. Congratulations, Major. Well done.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Of course, you're aware not everybody's going to applaud what we did here today.
Well, I'm not counting on applause, just a little patience, maybe.
Oh, by the way, unless you have other plans, I have a house I believe you might like to show your wife.
Oh, it's fine. I'd like that. I'll give you a call next week.
Good luck to all of us.
Drive you home, Hugh?
No, thanks, Billy. I believe I'll walk through town. Enjoy that.
Well, thanks for coming down, Chief.
Well, I guess I can say now, it was a pleasure.
Joshua.
Carrie gone and Ellie married and living in New York, I was just getting to think that Sunday dinners at the Lee home weren't what they used to be. Even their son, Will Henry III, was away at school. But the New York Times sent someone to liven up one particular Sunday. John Howell just been named to their Southern Bureau. With Billy Lee a more than likely candidate for governor, he made the Lee home his first stop.
Well, you gentlemen will excuse me. Glad to have met you, Mr. Howell.
Mrs. Lee.
And when you finish discussing affairs of state, the management cordially invites you for some peach cobbler in the kitchen.
I'd like that, thanks.
Good.
I think you've made a good impression on the management.
You have just been offered the most coveted bribe in the entire state.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
This is the farm where Billy was born. Used to be good cotton land.
I believe that's called down-home color, right?
Something like that, yeah. I thought I was being transferred down south, but this weather here is really more like New York. I think that's called small talk about the weather.
I understand the president sent his aide, David Cass, down to see you.
Oh, I think he came to see the governor, who happened to be out of town.
Think it might have something to do with 1964?
64? In what respect?
I hear the move to dump Lyndon Johnson is gaining ground, and that could create quite a vacuum.
Lyndon can create an enormous vacuum just by walking out of the room.
I think Lyndon Johnson has been a tremendous asset, both in the campaign and in the vice presidency, and I expect he'll continue.
David Cass predicted you'd say that.
I told you he was astute.
You were a good friend of Roosevelt's, weren't you, sir?
I was an unshakable admirer of FDR and completely convinced he was ruining the country.
Say, if you're looking for news, there's something coming up that might interest the Times, but you'll have to hold it for a week or so.
Yeah, it was good enough to hold. It's too good to keep, they say. I understand. Otherwise, I get to read it first in the Capital News, right?
You?
Well, this may not be earth-shaking news outside of the South, but there's this Negro Army Major, Major Tyler Watts.
Nice car you got here. You wouldn't have stole it now, would you? Hey, I'm talking to you, sport. Out of the car, come on.
What for?
Because I told you, that's what for.
It's not a good enough reason. I wasn't speeding, and you don't have any reason to believe I committed any crime.
How about this? Is this good enough reason for you? Now, out of that car.
Why don't you ask me for my license and registration?
I get a better idea, sport. You just button your lip and get back in that pretty car. I'm gonna pull out, and you're gonna follow me back to the station, real easy like. And we're gonna decide whether you own this buggy. I clocked you doing 55 in a 35 zone.
Bull.
You mouth off one more time, I'm gonna blow a hole in you. Now you move it.
You better know it, baby. Hold it. Hey, Tub, what you got there?
Speeding, resisting arrest, maybe stolen car.
Listen, honey, I gotta go. Keep your motor running, you in?
Okay, boy, empty pockets. Come on, everything out on the table. Come on. Everything, come on.
Okay, high roller, what's your name?
My name is Tyler Watts. But you can call me Chief. According to your records, you've all had military experience. That's good. Since it's clear that none of you know the first damn thing about police procedure, we're gonna run this department for the time being as a military organization. Just pretend you're back in the service, and I'm your commanding officer. And if that doesn't work, just pretend I'm God. Understand?
Yo.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir!
Strickland, you were an orderly room clerk, right?
Uh-huh. I mean, yes, sir.
Good. I want you to make out a duty roster. I want one man in this station to handle the phone and radio and 2 cars in motion at all times. 8-hour shifts, 30 minutes for lunch, and no coffee breaks. And anybody who calls in sick had better be in the hospital. I'll be back at 12 noon. I expect to see that roster posted and this dump looking like an orderly room. Understand?
Yes, sir.
You're Murray, right?
Newton Murray, sir. Everybody just calls me Tub.
I can see why. Well, you're gonna lose that name and the flap that goes with it, Murray. And one more thing. I want you to get rid of that .44 Magnum you've been hauling around. The standard firearm on this force is a .38 service revolver with a 4.5-inch barrel and no pearl handles. One last thing. Starting right now, you're all patrolmen, no seniority. I'll decide on your performance who gets promoted. Any questions?
Lieutenant Governor William H. Lee, a likely candidate for governor with a reputation as a moderate in racial affairs, denied that the selection of a black police chief for his hometown of Delano had any political overtones.
Well, now you're on the TV. You're famous, Billy.
More news after this.
So is John Wilkes Booth.
It'll set well with the faithful. We just have to wait and see how it goes down with the undecided.
I bet Jackson Rawlins is going to make an issue of it every hand he shakes.
That's right. Close as this is, if Tyler Watts puts 1 foot wrong.
You may well be the state's most famous dairy farmer.
This is all of them, Chief. Boy, nobody's gone through these old files for years.
Well, it's time we weeded them out. Now, let's start with Chief Lee. If they're still there, I want to see them all before you throw them away, okay?
I wasn't even born.
It'll be an education for you.
Hello? Anybody home? Say, who the hell's on duty here?
Hi, Sheriff. Chief, this is Sheriff Skeeter Willis.
Sheriff, Tyler Watts.
So I hear. Come do you a favor, Watts. Yeah, you got a prisoner here by the name of Teddy Wilkes.
Yeah? He's doing 10 days for drunk driving and destruction of city property.
That's the boy. I want him on a liquor charge.
Do you have a warrant?
Well, I guess you didn't hear me. I'll tell you what you do. You just trot him on out here, and I'll take him off your hands.
Well, if you can show the justice a piece of warrant, you'll probably reduce the sentence to time served. And you can arrest him.
You're getting cute with me now.
I can't release Wilkes without the JP's okay. You'd be taking him out of here without a warrant, and if you got a conviction, he'd be able to overturn it on appeal as an improper arrest.
Now listen, boy. I don't care how long you was an MP. You're doing business in my county now. And I just might go out of my way to show you what that means.
Sheriff Willis, you're welcome here anytime. But anytime you want to take somebody out of my jail, you better show me some paperwork. That's how business is run in my jurisdiction.
You don't mind my telling you, Skeeter's been around longer than sin. He ain't gonna let that pass.
Thank you, buddy. But speaking of paperwork,
What Tyler Watts was really looking for in those old files was any sign of his own arrest record. A young black boy named Joshua Cole caught stealing a ham years before. But in those boxes of old papers, there was also a single clear mention of the name Foxy Funderbuck.
Hey, what's that up there?
Oh, it must be Fox's place. Old Coot's always burning off brush.
We better take a look. Oh, that's out of our territory, sir.
Just write it up as a hot pursuit.
Now, you want the fire department, mister?
No, don't fire trucks. Come on, get out of here. I can handle this. I said get out of here. This ain't no territory, nigga. Get the hell out of here.
You find something?
Picked up Joshua Cole today for taking a ham from Roughton's grocery. He said taking, not stealing. It's just like Will Henry.
Your deep, dark criminal past.
The JP gave me 10 days, cleaning the streets.
Now, don't tell me that's kept you awake nights.
No, it's just one of those fly specks on the past I like to get rid of. No use having people asking a lot of questions about Joshua Cole at this late date.
Honey, I thought you said they charged you with accessory to murder after your father killed him.
Well, Daddy wouldn't plead guilty until they dropped the charge against me. I guess he figured it was the last thing he could do for me before they executed him.
What is all the rest of this stuff?
Let's see here. That's funny.
What?
Some of Will Henry's old records were mixed in with papers belonging to Sonny Butts. He's the chief that rode off into the sunset on a police motorcycle.
Oh, they probably all just got thrown in the same box.
No, I don't think so. Sonny Butts seemed to be interested in a case that Will Henry was looking at. Missing kids. A couple of murders way back. Really? There's some bulletins on missing boys. Let's see here. An undertaker wrote a description of one of the dead boys for Will Henry. Some mention of handcuffs. And there are some initials here. FF, order the handcuffs. Written in one hand, and then somebody else wrote under it, Foxy Funderburg.
Your friendly firebug?
Yeah. I wonder what old Chief Will Henry found interesting about him.
I don't know, mister. I better be getting along before dark.
Plenty of time. Just take me a minute to feed the dogs. Hey, while I'm doing that, how about a nice tall glass of lemonade? Wet your whistle. And I'll drive you back down the junction. How's that, lad, eh?
Okay, I guess.
That's a ticket. Come on, hit it.
Raytown had always stayed something of a mystery to most of the white folks in Delano. To be honest, I guess Tyler Watts was the first policeman who ever considered it a real part of the town. He hadn't heard of any trouble in Raytown on the police radio, so must have been something of a surprise to find a patrol car parked there.
I already paid him more than that stuff costs.
You ain't paid the carrying charges, Hawkins. Now you gonna come up with the money, or am I gonna beat it out of you?
Don't.
Now, you go wait in your car, Patrick. I'll handle this. What's going on here?
We don't want no trouble.
We bought a stove and some stuff from Mr. Cox in town.
All paid for. We paid regular.
He keeps sending a policeman around here for more money.
It's all paid up. I keep track. It's all paid up.
All right. Just take it easy now and explain the whole thing to me.
Mr. Cox, he keeps changing the figures.
And we ain't the only ones. That policeman comes regular.
Billy Lee sure to run for governor, and John Howell of the New York Times kept a weather eye on our town's politically fascinating police chief. He and Tyler Watts became good friends. As a sort of a friendly gesture, Tyler decided to stir up a quiet Sunday for Howell by showing him the records on those mysterious unsolved murders from years back.
So neither of these murders were solved? There's no record of it. Both missing kids, like all the other missing person reports. Did you talk to this Funderburg? Well, he had a little fire up there, and I went up to see what was going on, and he practically kicked me off the place. He put out the fire himself.
How come?
Out of my jurisdiction, he said.
Justin County? I hear that's going to be Bobby Patrick's jurisdiction now, right? That's the cop you fired for extortion.
Cop that resigned, that's right. And nobody's opposing him, I guess. He's got such a sterling police record. God help Justin County.
Look, Chief, don't let anything happen to this, like a little fire, all right?
Not a chance.
Look, if you get anything recent on this, let me know. I've got a friend in the FBI office in the Capitol.
So you're the only one who knows about this so far. I'd like to keep it that way.
Some of the merchants seem to think that you're conducting some sort of investigation of Foxy Funderburg, Tyler. Do you suspect him of something?
I don't have any evidence he's done anything wrong.
But you think he has?
I'd rather not say right now.
Very well, but we mustn't forget the fact that, for better or for worse, Bobby Patrick was elected sheriff of Justin County last month. That's where Foxy lives. Now, if you think you got something on him, you're going to have to go through Bobby Patrick, hard as that may seem. I know you don't like him.
Outside of the fact that he's a crooked cop and an extortionist, I have nothing against him.
Then you will grasp the real nature of our problem, Tyler. Billy Lee's announcing for governor tomorrow. Now, there are some people going to try their damnedest to make him look bad. Skeeter Willis, for one, I think Bobby Patrick as well. Just waiting to trip you up. Now, if they can make it look like you're simply harassing a peculiar old bird like Foxy, most of the blame's going to blow back on Billy Lee. Do you agree?
Tyler, I thought Mr. Holmes told you to forget about all that.
He told me to be careful. You're looking at a man who's being careful.
I'm looking at a man who's getting carried away.
I had Buddy Bartlett assemble all the missing person reports on young males. And look, I even made a map. Delano. It's almost in the center where all those kids were last seen. And look, they were all white, yeah, but look again. They could all be members of the same glee club or the same basketball team.
Okay, so you have a nice collection of pictures of white boys.
2 white boys were murdered. Probably tortured, even handcuffed and beaten with a hose, a police trick. It's all there in the old reports from Will Henry Lee.
Ancient history.
Foxy Funderburg is still on the mailing list of a police equipment company in the Capitol.
He wanted to be a police chief once. He made it a hobby.
The man kicked me off his property. He was afraid I might find something buried underneath those leaves he was burning.
Or was it because you're a black man wearing a badge he figures should be his?
This is the latest missing kid. Clearwater, Florida. Last seen in this area, but according to my phone calls, never seen outside this area. Look, even that guy, Sonny Butts, suspected Foxy. And who knows what happened to him?
It's not enough for an arrest.
It's enough for a search warrant. I'm gonna go see Judge Green in Justin County tomorrow.
No, wait. Don't you think you should wait until after the election next week?
It's the election I'm thinking about, Liz. If this thing is as big as I think it is, they won't need an election. They'll carry Billy to the governor's mansion on their shoulders. Nope. You won't like it if I have to pump you, son. What's your name? Where are you from?
James Folta, Minneapolis.
Long way from home.
Longer the better.
Well, I don't suppose you take too kindly to advice, but I'm going to give you some anyway. Either you go back home or you get where you're going, but don't hang around here. You got that?
I ain't done nothing wrong.
Good. Because I don't have the time to bust you. You keep moving here.
What the hell's the matter with you, boy?
I clocked you doing 56 miles an hour in the school zone. Can I see your license, please?
I'll teach you. Spill my milk, you dumb-head nigga. Come here. Now get up off this floor. Boy, don't you know who I am? I'm Hall Spencer.
As long as you know who I am. Let's go. Johnson, book him. Let him make his phone call and lock him up. And if he gives you any trouble, cuff him to the bars.
Chief. Holy mackerel.
You know who that is?
Yeah, he told me.
It's Hoss Spence. He's a big cheese around here. He's got a ton of friends. I mean, he's trouble.
Look, yeah, thank you, buddy, but get that camera out of the cabin and take some pictures of my face for his friends.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yes, Hugh, I'm aware there's an election Tuesday, but if Tyler arrested the old bastard, then jail is where it belongs. The press? Well, I'll tell him that Hoss Spence has been a bully and a bum all his life, and that my wife shot his son in the butt with a shotgun 15 years ago for trying to burn down my house. Well, it's good to hear you laugh about it, Hugh, in the face of adversity. Keep smiling. Right, I'll talk to you later.
What was that all about?
You gonna wish you was never born, nigga. Arresting my daddy. Shut up, Emmett. I'll take my cane back now.
I'm sorry, Mr. Spence. But that cane was used as an assault weapon. It's evidence.
Ain't you learned nothing?
I don't think I was talking to you.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to you. Shut up, Emmett. Let's get out of here. Place got a peculiar smell about it. Yeah, we get rid of that smell. You ain't heard the last of this, nigga.
I got business in Judson County with our friend, Sheriff Bobby Patrick. I may be gone for the afternoon.
Right.
Yeah, keep your hands right where they are.
What's going on?
Stay out of this, fella. You're under arrest.
What charge?
Assault and battery. Felony warrant. Now, finish. You can remember that the prisoner had this banged-up face when I arrested him, can't you? You can see that, too, can't you, Bartlett?
Yeah. Listen, I think you're making a big mistake, Sheriff.
Just let me worry about that, son. You better be able to chew what you bite off in my county, boy, or I'll damn well see you choke on it.
Sheriff Skeeter Willis was a master of timing. He'd arrested Tyler Watts on a Friday afternoon. By the time the news reached Billy Lee in his campaign headquarters, it seemed already too late to do anything. We had a general election coming up the next Tuesday. Skeeter had a whole weekend to do some real harm to Billy's campaign. Maybe even real harm to Tyler Watts.
No, Sheriff Willis. I'd like to interview Chief Watts tonight, if that's possible. Or the New York Times would like to. Okay, great. First thing in the morning, then. Sheriff, excuse me. Sheriff, do I understand that you refuse to let me talk to him? All right, great. You talk to the judge, and then I'll talk to you. Goodbye.
Too late. Judge Hill's gone.
That's just great.
Sheriff Willis is stalling. Says he's got to talk to the judge first, right?
He's also lying. Judge Hill's left for the weekend, fishing. Skeeter could find some reason for killing Tyler before Monday.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, I don't think it's that serious.
Don't be too sure. Get me Colonel Simpson of the State Patrol. Right now, I wouldn't give you even odds on Tyler's longevity. Hello, Jim. Billy Lee. Look, Jim, I need a favor. Well, there's a judge, Bert Hill, of Mainbridge County. He's out on the road somewhere.
Back off. Turn around. Hands behind you.
All right, Deputy, let's go. All right, I'll take over.
Where are you taking me?
I ain't taking you nowhere. Just move along. This way.
I asked you, where are you taking me?
Deeds, boy. I ain't taking you anywhere. You in the process of escaping.
Parade's over, Skeeter. This is a release order for Tyler Watts. Take those handcuffs off him.
Can't be no proper release order. Judge Hill's out of town.
Sergeant, serve the sheriff with this release order signed by Judge Hill. If he hesitates to obey it, arrest him for obstruction of justice.
Lee, you're overstepping your bounds. We're transferring this prisoner for his own safety.
Yeah, I know. They're searching your taxi now. Come on, Tyler.
Got 4 pistols and 2 illegal sawed-off shotguns. Run them in. Mason, go inside and get the rest of Chief Watts' uniform and his weapon.
I was worried half to death.
So was I.
Now, Buddy Bartlett said you were on your way to Justin County.
That have anything to do with, the matter you and I were talking about?
That's right.
So does this change anything?
Yeah, before I was determined. Now I'm mad. No matter what happens with the election Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm gonna make my move.
That was the longest election night I can remember. If you're running for governor in this state, you've got to get 1 vote more than half for a clean win. Otherwise, the House of Representatives picks between the top 2 men. It's clear that Jackson Rawlins and the Republican had each taken a big enough piece of the pie to keep Billy from getting that magic 51%.
Rawlins, if these projections hold, it looks like there is no clear winner tonight. Now, what does this mean?
What it means is the clear winners are the people. The so-called liberal handsprings the lieutenant governor has pulled have failed him. People of this state have turned him away loud and clear. The election will now go into the House, and in the House, I'll win.
Well, Billy, you are not an easy man to shoo into office for an old bird like me. We're going to have to change at least 5 votes in the House. It's a lot of hard work in the telephones.
I think we can do better than that. Are you up to some flying, Hugh?
Who's tired, Billy?
No, Patricia. A little nap, I'll be good as new. Tomorrow we go flying. That Rawlins going to beat us. He's going to have to shoot us down.
Now, I want you to take yourself, turn around, and march out that door, take you and that Billy Lee, and throw you both in jail.
Hey, listen, Tyler, that is the most fun I've had since I took office. Foxy and Judge Green have been like that for 30 years. Listen, anytime you get another one of your sideshows together, why don't you just shuffle on down here and give us a laugh? You think you can wiggle off the hook with Skeeter Willis with a load of bull like that? You're crazy as they say on TV. You may be the big mammoo with all the colored in Delano, but if I catch you bothering white folks like Foxy in Justin County again, I'll help Skeeter with the tar and feathers. See you, boy.
My office said it was urgent.
I'm on my way to the Capitol to raise a little hell.
Oh, come on. I heard about that Sheriff Patrick business yesterday. You forget that. Forget it.
I called you because you said you had a friend with the FBI office.
Yeah, right.
Now, this just arrived.
It's a missing kid report. Is this one hot?
So hot it may already be too late. James Fulton, Minneapolis, red bandana, God, man, I talked to him on the road.
When?
Friday. You want to help me get a warrant?
Are you kidding? Your bag, sir.
I want a search warrant from a federal judge, and you can get it for me.
All right, I'll ask for the warrant. But there've got to be some conditions. First, Agent Carr and his men are not to do any digging. They're not to do any tearing up of floorboards, none of that business. Second, you, Chief, may not even speak to this guy, Funderburk. You're an observer on this. Thirdly, you, John, may not even go near that search site unless actual evidence of a crime is discovered. Got it?
What good is a search warrant if we can't search?
Look, I'm way out on the limb on this already. You're going to have to take it or leave it. Now, what's it going to be?
All right.
Okay, Carl, you get over to the courthouse. I'll call the judge. Chief Watts, find something. Well, what do you have to... You feeling all right?
Tyler and John Howell just gotten a federal warrant to search Foxy's place.
Foxy's place? What the Sam Hill is going on at Foxy's place?
Oh, Tyler's been poking around out there for some little time. You know, Billy, if whatever they're up to goes wrong somehow, this could cost you the whole ballgame.
Well, they must know what they're doing. John Howell isn't one to dive headfirst into an empty pool.
What's he doing here?
Mr. Funderburk, Chief Watts is with us only as an observer and to help us search.
What's this all about? What are you looking for? That nigga ain't coming in my house.
I must warn you, Mr. Funderburk, if you resist this search, I'll arrest you and you're liable to be jailed for contempt of court. Please understand, sir, we just want to do our jobs and leave you in peace. Now, please, step aside and let us come into the house.
You violated my privacy long enough. Is that it?
Mr. Funderburk, can you explain why you keep a policeman's uniform in your closet?
Absolutely. Ain't no law. I mean, years back, I was supposed to have the job that nigger's got now. I was cheated out of it. Ain't no law says I got to burn the uniform.
We'll only be a little bit longer, Mr. Funderburk.
Hey, Corey, did you find anything?
No, not yet, sir.
I'm sorry, Watts, but without a lot more manpower and a lot more authority, I'm afraid we just about had it.
I know they're here. They're all here someplace.
You wait here. I'll go tell him.
Done everything we could, Chief.
It's a graveyard. I can feel it.
We apologize for any inconvenience we may have caused you, Mr. Funderburk. I'd like to thank you for your cooperation.
Fine, that's just fine. Now you get out of here. You take that nigger with you.
What did you do?
I tripped over that piece of pipe sticking out there.
What'd you do, break something?
Almost.
That's no pipe. This is a motorcycle handlebar.
Tyler, watch it!
I guess you're in charge here now, Chief. I'd say we better get some men and machinery in here.
Well, John? Yeah.
Mr. Holmes, Mr. Lee. Open up.
Sorry you were hurt, Tyler.
It's the line of duty.
My God. Some of them must have been in the ground 30, 40 years.
We found Sonny Butts, our long-lost police chief, buried with his motorcycle.
I believe I'll go home now. Leave this to the experts.
You take it easy. Easy does it.
I've worked most of my life. 50 years. Give this town a name, and now every time it's mentioned, it'll be for this. All those young boys. Poor boys. It's going to take a lot of good men to make this place decent again. Well, that's about how I remember it all. I didn't leave anything out on purpose. Oh, yes. Billy Lee was elected governor by the House. Like everything else in life, I guess, there's no great loss without some small gain. One thing I've never told anybody before, though. It's why Tyler Watts showed up at the Lee home a few days later. I guess you could call it unfinished business.
Hello, Tyler.
Oh. And congratulations. I thought I'd come by and pay my respects to the new governor.
By 2 votes. I think he should congratulate you.
I'd hate to think that it took the bodies of 43 young boys to get 2 votes.
So would I.
Yes, well, anyway, I see you're busy working. I won't keep you.
Oh, just sprucing up the garden. President Kennedy called, said he wanted to stop in and see Billy on his way back from Dallas.
Well, now.
Billy went to see the horses. You'll probably find him back there. Go this way if you want to.
Thanks.
Tyler, Hugh Holmes said it would take a lot of good men to make things decent around here. You're one of them.
Don't worry about old Dabble, Billy. I'll take care of him. That's a promise. Just between you and me.
He likes carrots. See that he gets a carrot every day?
Even if I have to steal one.
Joshua.